Let's see if it stream is up and running. Hopefully it isn't far. Just gotta make sure it's up and running on the PSGL page. Come on, where are you? Oh, it takes a while for it, I guess, to fire it up. There it is. Alright, cool. And the audio is working. That's good to see. And the chat's up and running. Perfect. So the stream's up and the chat's up. We're all good to go. Fantastic indeed. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to round 2 of the F7 Championship here on PSGL. I'm KD1997, your lead commentator for this event. This time we are racing at the Bahrain International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix. This track was opened up back in 2004, designed by track-making supreme Herman Tilke. It consists of 3.363 miles and 15 turns. 3 DRS zones as well around this racetrack, with the prime overtaking spots of turn 1, Turn 4, and Turn 11. This track has also got some very tricky traction zones from what I've been noticing in this game as well, particularly at Turn 8, and also the tricky left-hander of Turn 10. The drivers will have to be wary, though, as well, of the heavy braking zones. There are 5 of them of which in this racetrack, so they got to be very careful about how they pinpoint their braking markers as well. Now, before we go fully focusing on to qualifying, there is a little bit of news to go through. First, from the previous race at Interlagos, and if I could just put up the Stewart fines real quick. A bit of a few incidents to go over, first of which was the incident between Rzifi and Riggs. That was actually caught on stream as well from that race that occurred on lap 9. Rzifi was given a 5-second time penalty and 2 license points for the collision, and then the other incident was between Leo Ayres and Nicholas Boyda that occurred on the first lap. That was reported as no further action according to the stewards. Nicholas, though, would get involved in another incident with this one with Toby. He was given a 5-second penalty and 2 license points. And then finally with the incident between Toby and Maybe was given a 5-second penalty and 2 license points for the collision between himself and Toby. So, looking at the Drivers' Championship, currently it is Provatox that's leading the way, who won last week, and a remarkable last lap between himself and Yanetsky, who made a slight error on the final lap at turn 7. He's leading the way on 16 points, followed by Yanetsky in second with 12 points. Then it's Brandox in third with 10 points. Then it's Cedric in fourth with 8 points, followed by Nathan in fifth with 6. Stroduzzi in sixth with 5, who is also absent for this race. And seventh is Riggs with, well, he's tied for 6th technically with Stroduzzi, because he also, actually, wait, give me a second. Yeah, he's tied up with Stroduzzi with the fastest, because he got the fastest lap. And 8th is Joe's with 3 points. Brokey in 9th with 2, and goodness me, I sometimes get in trouble with this name. Tucker in 10th with only 1 point. Well, that's it with terms of news. Now I can just introduce to my new co-commentator for this event. Flynn's not here for tonight, so it's stepping in as Alex. Thanks for stepping in, my guy, and welcome as well. What are your first impressions as well with Bahrain? I know you said before we came on you're not the biggest fan of this track, but yeah, what's your insight with this place?
Yeah, indeed. Good evening, everybody, as well, of course, in the chat from my side. Bahrain, yeah, obviously a very nice-looking venue since it's been transitioned into a night race in 2014, which was a very welcome change, in my opinion. For the racing kind of point of view, it's certainly one of the better tracks on this calendar, and round 2, I mean, starting out with a bang after Brazil, is certainly a very nice venue. I'm currently on board right now with Riggs, who will be the first driver in that Red Bull to settle a lap at 106.7 in that middle sector split. As you said already, there's some very tricky braking zones and traction zones on this circuit, particularly as the track starts rubbering in, ironically enough, because the ideal line, the racing line, of course, does get more rubbered in. but at the same time, the marbles start building up, which very awkwardly form just outside the racing line, and certainly make life very, very difficult. Riggs there with a 128.5. Rezify immediately backs that up with a 28.5 of himself. And certainly looking like a very close contest so far. Mazzoso there in P3, I believe a reserve that is in the Aston Martin, 28.8, and certainly a lot of lap times yet to come as the banker laps start flying in.
Yeah, no, technically, from what I've raced and commentated around Bahrain, technically qualifying does get quite close, which is actually very nice to see, considering that everyone knows and quite honestly respects this racetrack. Like you mentioned, it's a decent little racetrack, and also I do agree with you as well about it being a night race. It's very nice having it as a night race. Actually, that also reminds me of another thing to point out. You may, if you want a little refresher in terms of the calendar, we were supposed to be racing at Las Vegas tonight, but according to PSGL committee, apparently they decided to change it because of the nature of the racetrack at Bahrain, at Las Vegas, I guess because of the curves or whatever, according to them. So that's why we're racing at Bahrain, not at Las Vegas. Hopefully, though, we will see Las Vegas though in the near future. I actually do like that racetrack in some aspects. I know it's not particularly everyone's favorite, but I mean, just because it's Las Vegas, you know, it looks cool and everything. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah.
Yeah, it's all flashy and shiny over there at Las Vegas, but I do agree with the PSGL board there. It's just not really ready, in my view, to get racing at already at this early stage of the season. But at the same time, of course, it would be great to see that venue featuring on the PSGL calendar very soon, because season 34, for sure, we've had a lot of American venues so far already on PSGL, but Las Vegas would just be yet another addition, as this qualifying is very much picking up at this point. We've got it very, very close, top 4 at this stage, covered by just under a tenth of a second, as Julian so far leads the way in that Ferrari. Very, very close. That's just 15 thousandths of a second ahead of Riggs to set that very first lap. So the very first lap of this session still ending up very, very good, as he's in the mid 1 minute point 28. I'm sure that'll go down towards the 28 ones, maybe even one driver or so dropping into the 27s, although that would be a pretty big stretch.
It would be a pretty big stretch indeed. That would be like a very competitive lap. But yeah, no, I know last week at qualifying for Brazil, we had the whole entire field separated by, oh god, what was it, 7.5 tenths? As Nathan goes to 7th with 28.7. Yeah, no, it was extremely, extremely close. Yeah, no, it was very great to see. Like, me and my other commentator, Flynn, we were, like, so amazed how close it actually was. Because normally it'd be separated by, like, over a second from the entire field. I've never seen it ever that close where it's separated by 7.5 tenths, which is very nice to see. So far from the entire field, it's separated by 1.2 seconds, which isn't a total surprise with Bahrain, but still, it's very nice to see. Also, yeah, there was a new patch that came out not too long ago. You may have noticed that the time is actually now more correct for Bahrain. It's now actually properly night instead of it being pretty much evening and progressing to night, because that's what it was set before as the official time. So at least that's good to see that they changed that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just optically very pleasing. It's always great to go here because of just the night flair of this, but it actually being right now is just very, very refreshing. As I think one of the drivers is now coming towards the line, but I think that's Leo there in the Haas, currently in P12, actually on an in-lap. That is a bit surprising to me, actually.
Yeah, he's backed out, apparently.
But how many other drivers? I think that was Nathan indeed last crossing the line to go up into P7. So nobody, I think, on a competitive lap at this stage, unless the Aston Martin of Brandox is on one. Yeah, I think he is. Just down on his first sector ever so slightly, but that lap is still valid. So he can maybe gain some time through this middle sector. It doesn't look all too committed at this stage yet. This is, of course, the middle run, but no, that doesn't look very quick to me. Yeah, 7 tenths down. Might have been a big mistake on that lap. And yeah, he does back out of it. He's 9 tenths down, currently down in P17. The man who finished on the podium in round 1. So, yeah, definitely a big step down here.
Yeah, he finished in third last week. I think he was in the top 10 if I remember when he qualified. No, he seems like a good competitive driver, but yeah, not really where he probably would expect himself to be, but still got a lot of time to go in qualifying. Let's see. Race winner Providence is making his way around the final corner. Tell you what, Alex, if you want to, why don't you give us a lap go around the Bahrain International Circuit? Give us a proper tour of the place.
Let's have a look here. Where is Prospect? There, he's in P9 at this stage, but into turn 1 now. He breaks before the 100-meter board, down into third gear. He's not trying to get all that much rotation from the rear. That can unsettle the car, but yeah, he doesn't get the greatest run through turn 3. Needs as good traction as he possibly can, but now into turn 4, that outside curve can really unsettle the car. But if you do get it right, you're going to get a very nice and wide turn-in through that turn 4, and that looks pretty nice so far. He's about a tenth up on his lap. He's going to have around the top 5 in his sights for sure. Now into turn 8, a very awkward braking zone down into here. He's going to have to get very good traction here as well. He's not fully committed for sure, is the Dutch driver. But now into turn 10, oh, that is very, very tight, but he actually manages it very nicely. Riggs, meanwhile, setting the fastest lap by almost 0.2 of a second. That's a very nice run there indeed. But Provotox now into turn 11. Before that 50-meter ball, it's a very late braking point. You wouldn't expect it to be that late, but now fourth gear on the exit. Now goes obviously flat out through the right-hander of 12 and into 13. He's about 0.4 up. He might well be challenging for this provisional pole now, with about 7.5 minutes to go in the session as he now plunges down into the final corner. Turn 14 this is, and then turn 15 is the final kink. That is a nice apex. Now he needs to get a good exit, and then might well be looking at a front row, if not provisional pole position. And it is provisional pole, 0.03 of a second. The Ferrari is back on top, and his teammate of Julian today, also starting a lap just now, he's in P3. So it's looking like a very, very strong qualifying for the boys in red so far. Other than that, I think Yanetsky currently on a run. He's in that middle sector. Michele is just about to cross the line as well there in P4 for the Haas. So solid bank. And oh, he goes wide.
Oh.
Invalidates. And
Yep.
that is tight. That is such a shame for him. Can't improve with that second run. But he will have at least another one. Brokey was actually the driver who improved that much. Goes up to P6 in the Mercedes. Finds himself 0.3 off pole position. And if I'm not mistaken, as I've currently got the gap on the leader, that should be a 600, but it shows as a 601.
Yeah, that's what it shows.
We'll take it as a flat 601 for the moment.
But still, no, that's very good lap times indeed. But yeah, Providox improving by literally half a second in that lap. That's very nice to see. But meanwhile, we're focusing on Julian as he makes his way up around turn 11, up to turn 12. Very flat as well. You don't want to hug the inside curve too much. That curve can spin you, I should say. And he's always 0.4 down. So he must have made a mistake somewhere. Speaking of that, that's an Alfa Romeo that's gone off the track at turn 8, but gets going again. Recife goes to the top. 1 minute 28.279. Nice lap there by the Papaya McLaren there. Up ahead of Providox by 15 thousandths of a second. That is very,
I've seen
very
that
close.
gap before. That is super close. 15 thousandths of a second. Resify on top in the McLaren. Nathan just there, I think, slowing down in the middle sector, letting through some drivers on the fast lap. One of them being Leo, currently about 0.2 up, sitting in P14 in the second Haas that we see on this field. Let's have a look now. Where can he put that car? He can maybe find some more time in that last sector. Then he might put himself well into the top 10, if not maybe into the top 5 even. Very, very cautious run, I would say, from my own experience through that final kink. But he does go into P7, a very solid improvement for Leo. And other than that, I don't think anyone is really quick at the moment. Toby might be on a lap, but no, he's on an out lap, I believe.
No, he made a mistake. He said he was 18 thousandths down. So he made a mistake somewhere.
So it's a McLaren sandwich at this point, if you will.
Yeah, from first to 20th, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, with Resify occupying the top spot. I said Recife earlier. Sorry about that. But yeah, no, I remember that's what I was saying earlier. In the first round, I mean, like, just because I didn't know everybody, so like I had to take a rough guess of how to pronounce some of these names. But at least I kind of understand a little bit. I do know that you used to race with a few of these guys, if I'm correct. From what you told me.
Yeah, indeed.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had a few of these drivers. I mean, I've been racing all 3 seasons on the last game, on 2 seasons in F7, then the last season in Formula 5, and I do have a lot of experience racing alongside some of those. One of them is currently propping up the grid. Toby was racing in F5 with me last season. There was also Bell Belby and El Pelota, very far near the bottom actually, which is very surprising to see. Nick Henson also a feature in F7 that was. In that second season. But yeah, I've got a lot of experience with some of these drivers. Bumpy as well in P11, being my teammate in season 32. Funnily enough, Bahrain was also round 2 in season 32. So there you go. It's just the circle's closing right now, as yeah, some of the drivers now preparing for their final runs. I don't think we'll be running out of talking points all that soon, as I think Janetsky is very early on the circuit. He really wants that clean run. He looked very clear, I think, from what I remember in that first round. So he's now very much looking to build on that momentum. Unlucky to lose out on the victory, but is now heading onto his final flying lap.
Well, right along with him since he is on a flying lap right now. If he does make a mistake, though, he has time to go for another run because we got 3 minutes to go. Through 1, 2, and 3, very nicely done as we got yellows. That's just for a Mercedes getting out of the way from what it looked like. Up and over the crest, up towards turn 4. DRS wide open, down to third. Trying to find as much traction as he possibly can. Oh, maybe a little bit too much as the back end steps out at the exit of turn 4. He's down only by 17,000, so it's not that much he's down by, but I think that first edge could have been a little bit better as he makes the way out of turn 8. Trying to find the traction again. Another wiggle there out of turn 8 there from the Alfa Romeo. That back end really not cooperating too much with that car as he makes the way around turn 10. Opens the DRS down the back straight. Mercedes gets out of the way. Very nicely done. As he now makes his way down to turn 11. Down to 4th. Again, finding as much traction. It can be tricky to find the traction around there. Maybe a bit of a step out there, I think. As he makes his way open over the crest. And he's up by 10 at the half. Oh, dear. I think that was a big mistake. And, yeah, he's backed out of the lap. Used way too much.
Pretty terrible point, yeah. Pretty terrible point as well to mess up that lap. Yeah, that was just getting too far onto that curb, and he wasn't able to recover that at all, was the Finnish driver. And now he's going to have very little ERS for another run, and I think we might see him pull into the pit lane straight away, does he? I think, yeah, he could actually be on another outlap. If he has enough fuel, sure, might as well go for that. One of the next drivers, I think, Ayati Bumpia, through that first sector at the moment. The AlphaTauri currently P11 and improves in that first sector by about a tenth and a bit indeed, as he goes through turn 8 now. Downhill braking zone, very awkward to get right. I think he could feel that understeer there in his newly acquired Fanatec gear. But now through turns 9 and 10, very tough braking zone. Yeah, he can feel that. It's so tough with the 23 game physics. But he managed it fairly well. So there's definitely a lot of lap time yet to be found. Matsozo, I think, just going up to P5 there, picking off a big toe from a Red Bull. But other than that, yeah, the final run's only starting off now, as this is going to be very tense. Bumpy now into his last sector, 0.2 of a second he's up by, so he might put himself into the top 5 if he gets a neat enough final sector. Maybe he's going to have a word right in the mix, right up there. But I think Rezafai, one of the big candidates for pole position, he's lining up very soon in that McLaren, and yeah, that'll be a very tough contest.
Bubschi comes across the line, only goes 5th fastest, improves by just over 0.2 of a second, 1 minute 28.4, and well, 28.5 essentially. But only a thousandth off of this man, Julian, who's on screen now, who's starting his final flying lap. Riggs, meanwhile, is down as Belby goes to the top. Where did that come from? From Belby.
0.2.
He was
impressive.
He was towards the bottom, and all of a sudden, where did that come from the Mercedes? That's a very impressive lap, a 28.072. Can Rezafai respond to that? Can the others respond to that? Rezafai around turn 11. He's only up by 10 thousandths, not by much. Not by much at all. Riggs, does he have any answer? No, it stays second. He goes second with a 28.2. Rezafai coming up to the final turn. Providux down the back straight, and Julian down the back straight as well.
Nice.
Only fastest for Michelle with a 28.3. So only good enough for P5. And I think someone else just came across. So that was Nathan in the AlphaTauri with a 128.364. Provatox, can he find a response to Belbelby, who is currently our pole sitter, as he makes his way around the final quarter now? We'll head down the main straightaway, up towards the line. No, it goes third fastest. 5 thousandths between himself and Riggs from P3 and P2. That is insanely close. Nappy, are you on a fly lap? He's up by a tenth and a half. Only goes 13th with a 28.6. Wow.
That'll be it. That's a wrap for qualifying. Wow.
And Belbelby, I did not know where that came from. That was actually astonishing. I wish I could have been on his lap to see what he was doing, but gee whiz. 28.0. Well done to you.
Yeah, that's well over a tenth of a second that he's put on the rest of the grid. 28.0, by the way. That's what I more or less predicted for pole, which is close enough, I would say. Belbelby also, I hadn't seen him at all. He was also in F5 last season, so very much a good job done there from the Frenchman. Riggs, though, on the front row, he's definitely putting some very good lap times on the board here. Provatox, such a shame for him to miss out on that front row by 5 thousandths of a second. I was on board on most of his lap. His first sector was 4 thousandths slower than his best. His middle sector was 5 thousandths down. So, if anything, really, it was such tight margins. He was on for basically an identical lap and is now having to settle for P3, the championship leader. But he is still close enough to the front and is definitely looking to extend that championship lead over Janecki.
Well, we'll see how it goes for the next 29 laps, but the Portuguese, well, he's actually Portuguese. I think he's a Frenchman. But Belbelby, yeah, pole position by just nearly a tenth and a half, followed by Riggs, Provatox, Rezify, Michelle, Nathan, Leo, Julian, Boomchi, Matzozu, maybe Brokey, Napple. Janecki, 14th. Did not expect that from him, especially after last week. So he's got a bit of work to do. Nicholas Boita, Nick Kenshin, Dominic Nielsen, El Pator, Brandox, and Toby rounds it off. So yeah, so much for being a McLaren sandwich. No, not anymore at least. But yeah.
Little fun fact, my personal best on this circuit would have put me in P16, so a good quality of F7 on this grid, on this game. Very good job. And yeah, now it's down to the drivers. 29 laps, as you said. And strategically speaking, honestly, I've come from holiday a week ago, so I've actually got no idea, more or less, what to expect on the strategy front. However, a one-stop does seem very viable. It's just about what compound you can really make last properly. Because we've seen in a lot of occasions that both medium, soft, medium, hard, medium, you can pretty much do all of them, and they're going to end up more or less equal. However, Bahrain, known as a pretty heavy track for tire wear, basically a stop-and-go track as well. You have so many big braking zones, traction zones, going so hard on the rear tires. I do expect more of a hard, medium, maybe hard, soft at a stretch at most.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you there for sure, especially with how abrasive the surface is around Bahrain as well. Yeah, technically that and like a couple other tracks I've seen in the Middle East are known for quite an abrasive tire wear. But yeah, we'll see how it goes for the 29 laps to go in this race. But also, I'm going to give you a little style sponsor shout out from GT Omega, who is a leading manufacturer of gaming peripherals. Actually, no, I will pause that for a second because we got the 5 red lights for the Bahrain Grand Prix. I'll get to that bit later. As we got the 5 red lights and it's out, and away we go here at Bahrain. It's a nice start from Belbelby down the main straight. He covers off Riggs as they make their way up towards the first corner. Car shuffling about. Looks like everyone's getting through relatively fine. But the Mercedes leads, but the Red Bull trying to fight into turn 2 and 3, up and over the crest, up towards turn 4. The Red Bull has the outside line, the Mercedes has the inside line. Does the Red Bull have anything in hand? Not quite, though. The Mercedes still holds them off there to turn 4. Down towards turns 5 and 6. They're still wheel to wheel, but he has to back out there. And the Mercedes, though, he loses 4 spots, maybe 5 spots. 6 spots as he gets sandwiched between the Ferrari and the AlphaTauri. Oh, contact there between the Ferrari of Julian and Belbelby. Oh, dearie me. That was
Yeah, there was
very
contact in
close.
the middle there, I think, of turn 6.
Oh, and a
That's what it all
spinner!
happened. Oh, no.
Leo!
Oh, no.
Oh, that's Leo that spun. Oh dear, he's had a shocker in this race too. He had a bit of a shocker last week at Interlagos, so he's got a bit of work to do down in 20th, but he still can carry on from what it looks like. As they're 3 wide in the back as well between Darwin Niels and Matazo and maybe as they make their way up towards turn 13. Deary me, these cars are just getting their elbows out here on the first lap, a little bit on the first lap, both because of some incidents that occurred. As they now make their way up towards the final couple of turns. They're still wheel to wheel, these two. But apparently the Alpine has to back out as well. But meanwhile, though, up at the front, it's Riggs that leads the first lap by just nearly 0.3 of a second. Resify and Providox are side by. Oh, down the inside goes the McLaren. I did not expect that. I didn't think he was that close to make a move, but he tried. But it didn't work. Oh, and Matazo's
going for it.
Oh, Matazo's off that. Oh, contact between the McLaren and the Aston Martin. Oh, that was a stupid rejoin, I thought, there by Matazo. Rejoins in front of Toby and destroys his front wing. Oh dear. Yeah, he went off the track at turn 1, but rejoined in a very unsafe manner. And I know Toby is not going to be very happy about that.
Whoa, there's the Williams there, right at the back. Dominic, yeah. Just going to the inside off that Aston Martin. He's got the Alpine of maybe now right up there. He doesn't challenge, it looks like, into turn 10. No, he doesn't. Backs out of it. Gets hit up the back, though. Oh,
contact.
It's very, yeah, it's a bit of a little pushing about going on in these first few laps, but it is to be expected a little bit, those drivers getting their elbows out before the DRS train eventually does kick in, because that is a very common occurrence down this Bahrain circuit. However, I would have said the top 5 stayed put as they were, but that obviously isn't true, with Belbelby dropping all those positions from pole position. And now it is Resify challenging Riggs for this top spot. Goes very wide. We call that the esports line nowadays.
Yeah.
But Resify still challenging very much, setting the fastest lap as well. He's looking like the man who wants to challenge for this victory after getting so unlucky last time out. He's now going to pick up the DRS as well down into turn 4. And he's certainly looking very racy. He's the young Brit in the McLaren.
Yeah, so can he get by the Red Bull here? He's got DRS up towards turn 4. That looks pretty simple from what it looks like to me. And yeah, it looked very simple enough. Oh, not quite. It's the Red Bull tries to go for the switchback. Doesn't have enough of a run.
He's got it.
Resify's got the move done. Yep, up to the first position he goes. But yeah, as we expected though, a lot of drivers on the hard tires. Only 4 on the mediums. Toby's pitted for new mediums actually. He was on hards before that. But the only ones that are non-hards, that would be Nicholas Boyd on the softs, Snapple on the mediums, and Michelle on the medium tires, as Leo and Matazo are fighting for position down towards the rear of the field. But yeah, apart from all that stuff on the first lap, a couple laps, not too much after that. But now it's just going to be the game of DRS. So you got to be within that 1 second, though, if you want that DRS. It's crucial around Bahrain. If you don't, you're kind of a bit of a sitting duck. I would say mostly in a track like this, considering how many long straights there are. There's a lot of room to get some overtaking done if you have the DRS, of course. But also, you don't want to get caught out. Oh, hello.
Yeah, I think Nathan might be one to get caught out here, as he hasn't got the DRS onto that top train. I think Michele might have made a bit of a mistake earlier on, as Nathan was through in the middle sector. Now he's got the top 3 challenging again, as very, very tight stuff going on there. Nathan defensive against Belbelby right now, as the Mercedes tries the switchback. He's on the outside, he's going to get pushed out a little bit. Whoa, very tough, very tight stuff. Can Belbelby now make the move into 4? Very hard racing going on here already. He's on the inside as the Frenchman now. Nathan trying to get the switchback, can't get it done. Belbelby, very nice move, it has to be said, from the Mercedes. Get himself back into P5, but now has to catch a little bit to get on the back of Michele, who himself has to catch to that top 3. He's on the mediums as well, remember? Yeah. So he currently does have a lot more grip. You would suspect, and he is back in the DRS. Belbelby, I think, is just about got it, which would be very, very good for his race. But certainly he's going to have to push out a lot of battery. Right now, I think 13 drivers in this top DRS train, if I've counted that properly. So very, very tight stuff here, and don't we just love to see that? I mean, brilliant stuff to see. I think also Nicholas there, P9, on the softs, he's made up 6 positions, so a very good start from the Red Bull man, but just when will he pit? And will he pit for the hards? You would assume yes, as he would just go in at the earliest possible opportunity, maybe hoping for a safety car. But that is not a super common occurrence, so yeah, we'll have a look at how that one plays out. He's certainly got some good pace right now, and he's going to try to keep that up as long as he can. Meanwhile, Riggs at the top of the field. Yep, he is back past Resify now, and that'll be a continuing theme, I think, through this race.
Probably will be, but will Resify fight back into turn 4? He will get the DRS, as you saw him behind him at the detection zone. Yeah, it kind of looked like it will be a move coming on. On the inside goes the McLaren up towards turn 4. Parks it in, very nicely done. Yep, looked pretty straightforward there. But yeah, no, Michele though, in his position though, he needs to get by these 3 cars in front as quickly as possible and try to build up a gap if he can.
Whoa. That was a very late braking, if I may say so myself. Michele, oh my word. Well, he is certainly a man on the move. He's trying to be anyways. Is the Haas right now. I think Italian is what he's been, as he is, well, this is esports team experience. He came from Team FMD, which is based in France, in Italy, sorry. And okay. Yeah, I believe he is Italian, not 100% on it. But yeah, Italian drivers, I think they generally have a reputation of being
yellow, that's Nathan.
Oh no, that's Nathan.
Oh, he spins.
He's out of spin.
Yeah,
must have dropped it there on the traction. Oh, he's beached it, hasn't he?
No, he almost
lucky.
He almost beached it. He almost did. He almost had the rear beached. But now he gets going again. I don't know if there was maybe, I don't know if he spun by himself or he got helped. But yeah, no, that's a bit unfortunate there from the AlphaTauri driver. And here comes round 2, or round 3, I should say, of Riggs versus Resify. And down we go into turn 1.
Oh, Michele as well.
Yeah, Michele up to 3rd. Tries to fight against the Ferrari. There's still. Oh,
no.
Spins! He spins! Oh, he's beached it!
He's beached?
Oh, he's beached. Yep, I'll allow that. Yeah. No,
well, that's on stream, isn't it?
Well, no, that's fine, because I get it's easy to beach the car very easily. Yeah. No, if anyone beaches the car and resets the track, I'll accept that. Because, yeah, it's a bit silly, but yeah, it can happen. Oh, yellow.
Oh no, there's been more contact.
It's Provatox. Yeah.
Oh, he needs to get those tires cooled down, doesn't he?
Yeah, his tires are too hot. Wow, a race winner from last week down towards the rear of the field. After a bit of contact between himself and Michele at turns 2 and 3.
Well, that'll jumble up the championship, I reckon. That's going to be very interesting. Now, Riggs obviously has scored 7th and fastest lap last time out. Resify hasn't scored a point in that last race after qualifying what I believe was 4th. So definitely a strong showing in quali, but hasn't been able to put it together in that race. Now he's again at the sharp end. He's proving why F7 is definitely a good placement there, though very wide. That esports line, I never dared taking it at Bahrain, to be honest. I was just too scared of either spinning it or just getting that unnecessary track limit warning. As is this the first time that they haven't overtaken each other? As Brumpier at the back moves up to P5. He is outside of that top 4 train, so he's now heading a pretty big train, I would say. Yanetsky as well, making a move past Julian there. Or does he? Gets pushed onto that curb. Oh, very tough stuff. Alfa Romeo and Ferrari side by side. Where do you see that in real life, huh? As he now goes to the inside, turn 4. Can he get that one done? Yeah, now he's got the move done. Yanetsky up into P8, and he's trying to make amends in this championship fight. Seconds to Provatox at the moment, but Provatox well down in 19th right now. Yeah,
Yanetsky also making up some spots, having a bit of a rough qualifying session for him, up to 8th. He's in the points, that's the main thing for him. Remember, top 10 do score points here.
Oh.
And PSGL! Oh, there's Yanetsky. I thought he was going to go for a Fernando Alonso sort of move there at turn 10. But no, didn't have no avail on that. Just wasn't close enough to get by Nicholas Poita, who I think might be struggling a bit on those soft tires, maybe at this stage. Because, yeah, he doesn't seem like he has the pace now compared to what he had the first couple of laps, which isn't a total surprise with these soft tires. Oh, yeah, you could definitely tell by the braking as well how he wasn't that confident as well going through the braking zone. As Dominic Nielsen, I think, has a spin. Yeah, turn 13. It goes way off the track. as Michele
Oh, that's Resify.
he gets
Oh,
he gets overtaken by Michele up towards
that must have
Main
been a
Street.
mistake then by the McLaren. As now
Yeah.
he's got that Haas between himself and Riggs. That's not what he would have wanted. Maybe he's now trying to get him to go deep, get a better exit onto turn 4, but he can't do that.
Nicholas Boyd and Yanetsky and Julian as El Pator bumps him as well into turn 1. But here comes there's contact there towards the front of that pack. Gee whiz, between the Ferrari and the Alpha. As the Alpha goes down the inside into turn 4. He gets it done up towards up to 7th, I should say. Gee whiz. That was very hard racing for sure. That's not the first time we've seen that. That's not the first time we've seen it in that particular area, at least, in this race.
We're getting flashbacks to 2014 here, aren't we? To the first night race, of course, at this circuit where the two Mercedes drivers were going hammer and tong, of course, between each other.
Yeah,
the outcome of that is very known, but now, certainly a repeat here on technically 10 races on, if you will, 10 years. It's crazy to see. It's still happening, of course, with all of these cars. And Yanetsky, I think, halving his grid position at this stage already. And with 20 laps still to go, he's certainly got a good chance of making amends in this championship fight. But Riggs, he's almost pulled 1 second. He just about doesn't manage to do it before the DRS detection, which is a shame to see for him. But he's also out of ERS, as you can see there by the red light flashing. He's struggling to hold on.
Yeah. I think Michele's got DRS as well, so he'll be able to close the gap up. And he's got plenty of battery to play with too. So he's in a particularly good spot, but he needs to make the most of those mediums before he goes into the pits.
Whoa.
Naples. Oh, down the inside of Boomchi. I think there was another overtake that happened back there as well. I don't remember who that was, or didn't see who that was. But the Alpine gets in front of Boomchi there for fifth place, I should say. But kind of similar to 2014 with some of the scraps that's been going on, like you mentioned, with Hamilton and Rosberg that happened in 2014. That happened the first half of that race, if I remember correctly. And not only that, they were separated by 20. Oh yeah, he's retired in the pit line. He's had enough apparently.
Well.
That's unfortunate, but getting caught up in that first laps incident between himself and Matt Sozo at turn 1. Yeah, I know he definitely is not happy with that sort of incident, that's for sure. But yeah, isn't it amazing though how 2014 that the Mercedes was that dominant that they would battle each other throughout the entire race, and they kept filling a gap between themselves in the field. That's what's happened.
Oh, look at that racing there between Napple and Bumpia. Bumpia almost going to the outside of 12. That would have been very surprising. But Bumpia has to look out for Yanetsky behind him. I think this could end up in a 3-wide situation if they're not careful. And we all know what that can lead to. But it looks like I think the AlphaTauri's got the measure here. But what has Yanetsky got to think about that? He is definitely on the attack now. He might be making an overtake for P5. Bumpia boxed in a little bit. This is now going to put Napple in the middle of this.
Oh, he's got him.
Oh,
contact!
Massive slide, Bumpia.
Oh, my goodness me. I think there was contact, I think. From what it looked like on the camera angle I had. I'm not entirely sure from your end. I thought I saw contact. Speaking of which, there was contact there. Down the back straight. Yanetsky to the inside. Can he go for a 2-for-1 here? Into turn 4. The wheel to wheel on board. AlphaTauri backs up. Wow, nicely done. Yanetsky making the move there. What a race so far from the Alfa Romeo. As he loses the back end slightly, I think, out of turn 8. And again, having a bit of a slide. We saw that earlier during qualifying. His car just wasn't cooperating with the back end. I think he's having that same issue in the race as well. But so far, making moves as he's gained about 9 positions so far. 9 positions in this race after starting 14. No, he has been doing absolutely superb, Yanetsky. Yeah, showing that raw race pace he's got in that Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, but now he's low on ERS, so it might be a bumpier fight back here a little bit. But we're going to have to see about that. Of course, we also got the medium run of Napple still hanging around there. But I think this might be the time where the hards are going to get slightly better than the mediums. Around lap 11 now as Riggs starts that out for us. Michele is very much on the back, but doesn't want to make the move yet.
Ooh, interesting.
Interesting tacticking here going on.
I think
of course, this is also all depends on strategy.
I think I know what he's doing. He's trying to stay behind
Oh,
Riggs to build up ERS, and then when he gets into the pits, he goes for a
yeah.
massive undercut and burns off all that battery as much as he can, and do quali laps basically. So that's not a bad idea, but he won't have the tire advantage though. Is the only problem that he's got towards the end of the race.
Yeah, particularly on this game, you really have to measure out just how much the undercut is going to bring me. It does bring a lot, of course. Over one lap, it can often translate to about 2 or 3 seconds of pure lap time. So however many laps you stay out, that is the advantage you have got. And then you're going to have to manage as well as you can against the driver who's got much better tires than you at this stage. That's a massive slide in the background there for Brokey, right behind the soft tire run of Boita. He's still out on the track. After 10 laps, he's still holding on relatively well. I wouldn't be banking on that for all too much longer, really, but he is doing well to keep himself in that fight. He's in P10, so he's definitely very much in with a shout for some good points. He's the man in the Red Bull, the Brazilian driver. Of course, no stranger to me as well. Raced him in F5 last season. Definitely a very solid driver on his day. So I think he'll be looking for probably more than just a few points that he's on for right now. But at the same time, I don't think he can be unhappy with that performance so far. He's gone from 15th as well. You have to remember, starting even behind Janetsky. He's in the top 10. I think you can be happy with that.
Yeah, it's a respectful race indeed. I mean, you'll always be happy if you can score some championship points. But also, championship points can matter in any sort of championship, no matter how many you get. As bad as overtakes maybe for 13th, but yeah, we'll see what Michele does here if he decides to pit. Well, I probably would assume he'll pit in the next couple of laps, maybe even this lap. I'm not sure, because yeah. Oh, what is that camera angle, game? Gee whiz! I just looked at nothing but a bollard there. But yeah, he might just try to go for a bit of an undercut this lap, maybe next lap or two. I'm not sure, but yeah, depending on what his strategy will be. Or we could see him go from medium to softs. You never know. I've seen.
Maybe.
I know that. I think that's what Jaromir was trying to do in F1 PC a few weeks ago. But I guess, well, he thought otherwise on his strategy. But yeah, it's not impossible, but we'll see.
I've seen a lot of things on this game. It's all possible. Janetsky, 3 seconds.
Oof.
Oh. It's not really that easy, actually, to get warnings or penalties at Bahrain. So I'm a bit surprised that he's got it that early on, which should at least ensure, from my view at least, that he's going to get it, as that's going to be it. But Michele now, he's in the pit lane. So from the mediums, that is 100% a stop onto hard tires, unless he's on a two-stop for whatever reason. But no, he will be going onto the hards. And obviously to the end of the race. Now he's going to have to make as much as he possibly can of that tire advantage. But where does he feed out on the circuit? Luckily for him, that is Williams behind him pitting as well. So it looks like he will just about be coming out in clear air. Or is he? That's his teammate coming there, Leo. He's just in front. So very lucky escape there from Michele. Nicely calculated, you could say, from his perspective. So now, 7 seconds in front of him, nothing. He's going to have to push. And I think he's got the space to do it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of clear, and he's got the battery to play with. He's got a full amount of resources, 87% actually to be exact. So yeah, he's got clear air. He's definitely in a prime position to get a massive undercut. As we saw also too, Boita has gone on to a set of medium compound tires down in 18th place.
Oh,
so
that's early.
Bit of an interesting strategy. Yeah, I thought that's a bit early too. But hopefully he won't get a puncture.
Oh.
He's going to have to stretch those tires for sure. Alright, so what do the top two do in terms of countering this strategy? They're going to have to stay out for a little bit. That's definitely for sure. Yeah, because you can't make the Mias last this long about this part of the about this part of the race. Yeah, that's not a surprise they're staying out for another lap. Anyone else bugging in? Yes, there is. Janetsky's coming in. And Naples, not Naples, sorry. Naples not a surprise, but Janetsky is a bit early, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely going for an undercut then. He wants to get into that top 3, top 2 fight, just so he can maybe keep himself in that DRS, however close it is. If he stays in, he's fine, and I think that could be promoting him into a shot of victory, or at least a podium position anyways. for the Finnish driver, but at least now he's dropping very far back, of course. That is the Red Bull of Boita. If he comes out behind him, that's not going to be good news, but it looks like, yeah, Janecki is in front. And he has slightly fresher tyres than the Red Bull. Napple behind on the fresher hards. He should be able to pull away from that. But Provotok's right in front. That's not ideal. That is his championship rival. However, he goes for the move immediately into turn 4. Can he make that one stick? It looks like they're still side by side. And he's now going to have the inside probably for the next right-hander. Yeah, he does. And Provotok also thinks better of it, doesn't fight it. And Janecki through into 14th, already ahead of his championship rival, the championship leader, of course, after round 1. Now he's going to have to pull as much as he can. He's only got 2 seconds of clear air for now, as Nathan in front is... He hasn't stopped yet. No, he hasn't. Of course, after having that spin early on, has dropped back quite a lot of positions. So, yeah, the big mountain to climb for the man of the AlphaTauri, but the man of the Alfa Romeo behind, he is a man on a charge. And at the same time, I'm looking as well at the gap between Riggs and Rezify, and have seen that they've swapped positions again. Well, that's how quick that one goes. Rezify back in the lead.
Yeah, in the first corner as well. I don't think that's something that they want to... Oh, gee whiz, maybe losing back at the final corner. That I just caught there. As Belby goes into the pits. Same with Elpitor. Medium tires at the go. There's Leo there down the main straight. Fastest lap, what was that? That was set by Michele there with a, what was it again? 131.4. Yep, so he's definitely pushing. He's setting quality laps. Now he's right behind, maybe.
He's going for another one.
Yep, he's going to go for an... Yep, move down to turn 4. Looks pretty simple, I think. Not much the Alpine will do. Can't fight that. As Michele moves up into 7th place. But yeah, he's going to...
get gap to leader. Oh yeah, he's 18.2 seconds behind Rezify at this moment in time. The pit loss is pretty big actually in Bahrain. It's a fairly long pit lane. So he's now having to make as many inroads as he possibly can onto those top 2 who are constantly changing. And Janecki, meanwhile, making an overtake on Nathan in a very inconvenient spot, it has to be said, as he is on the inside into 10. He's going to have to make that one last. Nathan, massive drift. Oh my days. But he's made it stick, has Janecki, and he's now got the Mercedes right behind as well. Belby, he has been in the pit lane as well. Big defense going on from the AlphaTauri. Belby, he's through though, it looks like. Yeah, he is. He needs a P12 right behind Janecki. It's crucial for the Mercedes now to stay close. Rezify's in. That's going to be a big one for strategy.
All right. Now we keep our eyes on Michele as he makes his way around the final corner. And yeah, he looks like he'll be massively cleared. Yeah, definitely for sure. And there he goes down the main straight. McLaren's just slowly crawling at 50 miles an hour down the pit lane, and there goes Michele, well cleared of the McLaren. That's how powerful this undercut is, ladies and gentlemen. That is a massive undercut right there. And I think the gap right now is just about, that looks like about nearly over 7 seconds, I think, between himself and Michele. So yeah, the undercut has definitely worked for sure. Actually now 6.5 seconds, I take that back. But yeah, no. Michele putting up quality laps, and well, it's paid off, but he's going to be at a tire disadvantage because Rezify, as we mentioned, is on the medium compound tire. So yeah, and look at what Janecki is. Now he's up to 6 after being 14th, even after the cycle of pit stops. So he's doing pretty good, but unfortunately though he's got that 3-second penalty to work with, but he needs to fill that gap.
It could still be in that 3rd or 4th position at the moment for Janecki, depending of course on whether he can get into that DRS range. Napo meanwhile making the overtake there on Leo behind that, as Leo on those old hards. He might be wanting to go to the softs at the end, as Boita now to the outside of 12. Nice move as well from the Brazilian. Riggs is in. The race leader is now into the pit lane. Now the gap between him and Rezify will be extremely interesting. I think maybe he might even come out right between Rezify and Janecki. And that could basically bring Janecki into play for this DRS train. As crucially also for Rezify, maybe pits in as well. So no real strategic difficulties on that front. Belby, fastest lap, goes through on Janecki as well. And Riggs is through. No, Rezify is through, sorry. And Belby, he just doesn't make the move as well as he would have wanted to. And that opens the gap to Riggs back up to almost 2 seconds. Janecki going for it again on the outside now of 4. But Belbelby covers that off nicely. Meanwhile, in the background,
Oh,
Boita tries to
Boita.
go for the overtake on Napple. Oh my word. Napple must have got back through then on the Red Bull, as Boita has been able to make that overtake stick. He does look like he can go a lot quicker, kind of Brazilian, but he just needs to pick his moment now, or otherwise El Pelota is going to be right on his back too.
Yeah, for sure. And El Pelota, definitely good race for him after his DNF last week in Brazil. He's right now in the points, definitely having a good race as well. Michele, though, what he needs to do is just keep his head down, keep himself calm, and try not to worry too much about Rezify. Rezify, though, he needs to put. I almost said the F word, didn't I? At least I caught myself. At least I didn't say
Indeed,
that word.
yep.
At least I caught myself. But no, Rezify just needs to push as best he can. But he needs to close in about, I would say about half a second a lap is what he needs to do in order to catch up to Michele. And right now he's gained about 2 or 3 tenths on this lap. Not very much, but he's still gaining. But he needs to make the most out of these medium tires. But he's also got a Red Bull, though, that's definitely going to fight him as well. They have been battling for a while, these two, Riggs and Rezify. Speaking of a Red Bull that's fighting, that's him fighting an Alpine. That's Nicholas Boita, who goes deep and goes way too wide as Napple tries to fight back into turns 2 and 3. Bit of
look at El Pelota.
banging. Oh, hello there, El Pator. There you are. Into turn 4. Oh, can he make it
in
done?
the background as well.
Yeah, the Dutchman also getting. Yeah, the other Dutchman getting involved as well. Side by side with the Brazilian there to turn 5 and 6. Nicely done. Yeah, the sister Red Bull gets in front of his big brother there.
Well, another one for the interesting books here. To translate that to real F1, but of course this is a game. We've got a Haas leading the way at the moment, so I think anything is possible, really. As I just like to say as well, right now the gap between Janetski and the car behind is opened up to almost 3 seconds. So right now, at least, he's not losing out on any positions. He's currently in net P5, if you will. But he does also have the oldest tires there, from the medium runners, that is, anyways. Because Michele, of course, he has the oldest in general, apart from the drivers who haven't pitted. And I think what could be difficult as well for Rezify, maybe, in that chase for the race lead, is that the tire difference is only 3 laps between those hards and the mediums that he's got. And also, of course, Riggs, he is very much on the back of that McLaren and also wants to get involved there too. Rezify doesn't seem to be gaining all that much. So at the moment, Michele looks to have been on the blinding strategy.
We'll wait and see. He has gained a bit more time, though, Rezify. He's gained about maybe 4 more tenths on that lap. It's not, I wouldn't say it's just over yet, but we know Michele, though, is on the longer lasting tire, that being the hard tire, so he can definitely go comfortably towards the end of the race. Belby spun.
Whoa.
At turn 4. Was there contact between him and Janetski there at turn 4?
Janetski was extremely wide through 4. I'm not too sure what happened there. But it certainly didn't look like a regular overtake happening, at least in my eyes. However, I also caught onto it pretty late. Didn't quite catch it. Janetski, at least on the track, is up to 4th. Oh, but he's going to need to gain a bit of time. I think now he's actually back in the range of dropping even down to 7th, down to Bumpia.
Yeah. No, he needs to get going quickly, doesn't he? For sure. But, yeah, the gap right now between the leader and second is 5.9 seconds. Gap is only closed about 2 tenths on this lap, maybe 3 tenths on this lap, actually, between Rezify and Michele. So, yeah, he's only gaining by just a few tenths. He's not really gaining the massive amount he needs. But there's also another problem as well. He's still got that. Oh god, that glitch, that audio glitch is still there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Started too.
Yeah, when you go on board later into the race, yeah, you get that, unfortunately. Speaking of unfortunate events for Rezify, he gets overtaken by the Red Bull. Up to second goes Riggs, but then the McLaren will fight back up towards turn 4. Oh, no, he doesn't. Oh, no DRS, apparently. I guess the game thought those two must have got across the detection line at the same time. Interesting.
Maybe just Rezify not wanting to make that overtake. Maybe he feels that Riggs is faster and can pull him along, getting towards that Haas in P1. Interesting. Riggs does seem like he's got a fair bit of pace. He's also got 1 lap fresher tires, which on this game makes a pretty big difference, actually. as he's currently now trailing that Red Bull by 6/10. And look at how much Riggs has already caught up. 5.2 seconds. I'm pretty sure at the start of that lap, that was 5.8 between Reservoir and Michele. So could that be actually a blinding call there from Reservoir? That's two penalties right at once there, actually. Julian
Yeah,
and
Julian
maybe, I think, picking off the penalties there.
Yep, they were.
That race for the podium is definitely not over yet. At least, well, the top three seem relatively safe, I think, at this point. Belby finds himself about 6 and a bit seconds behind Reservoir. But the race for the lead, Riggs, is under 5 seconds. He is super quick. He might be the fastest man on the track at the moment.
Maybe we'll wait and see if he can still pull that gap even more. Does he set the fast lap? He might, actually. No, he doesn't set the fast lap. Interesting. Okay, so, yeah, and right now that's occupied still by Belby, who we see on screen right now, as he now gets overtaken by Janetsky for 4th. Actually,
Yeah,
we'll put
they're
up
constantly switching, yeah.
I'll put up the lap data
Got a big
as
train,
well,
actually.
just to get a big idea. Yeah, we do have a big train as well, you're right. That leads from Janetsky down to Apple in P8 so far. David Nilsson's out. Oh, he's retired. Yep, he's retired again. Second retirement in a row for the Williams driver, unfortunately. Yeah, that's not been the greatest of starts there for him, unfortunately. But still got a long season to go. That's all I can say for his perspective. And the gap right now is closing even more. It's now 4.3 seconds. It's gained about 6/10 on this lap between Michele and Riggs. So yeah, he may be actually flying here, Riggs. That's just the AI. That's why the yellow flags are out at Sector 1. Yeah, 4.1 seconds.
Quickly checking the warning situation here, because that could be interesting to look at. To see maybe just how much the drivers are going to have to back up. Oh, okay, Michele's got 3, so that must be collision warnings. I think that could be potentially 2 track limit warnings, so he is going to have to back off a little bit. Riggs, meanwhile, no warnings, it looks like. No warnings for Riggs. He is on it. Reservoir, he's got one warning for him at this stage. And yeah, that is the McLaren now back through into second. They are going to be playing switcheroo now, but how much time does that realistically gain him? They're under 4 seconds, but is that really the most efficient way to gain on the Haas in front? As that is bumpy now, looking to, he's got overtaken there by El Pelota through into turn 1, but might come back into 4. No, he can't. Not enough straight line speed, really. In the background as well, Boita and Brandox fighting away as, that Aston Martin very deep into 4. Boita holds on to 10th for the moment, but he's got very, very old tyres. So I think that could be a tough one for him to hold on to. Currently in 10th, 9th on penalties, but very hard to hold on to points, I would say.
I thought that wiggle there tells it all there from Nicholas Boita there, and Illy losing it there in turn 6. But yeah, now looking back on the laps between the second and third and the leader, Michele did 33.2. Oh, 33.2. Yeah. Riggs, who was in second on that last lap, was at a 32.2. So it's about a second difference on that last lap. I don't think they gained much on this lap, if I'm correct, from what it looked like to me. Well, let's look at Michele's lap.
It wasn't a big gain, definitely.
Yeah, Michele does a 33.3. How about Reservoir? He's now going to be overtaken. 32.7. He only gained about half a second on that lap, as Riggs now overtakes Reservoir for what seems like the 1,000th time in this race, because these two have been swapping places mainly down the main straight. Speaking of that, Belby now overtakes Janetsky again, this time down the main straight up to turn 1. What a total surprise.
I was going to say that it's basically the same for the two behind as well, who are fighting away for fourth on the circuit, but Janetsky doesn't like that for sure. All that battling, it will make him lose time and positions. So maybe the loss from Provitos isn't even going to be that big. The man is down in 14, so it looks like very unlikely to make some points. However, he actually hasn't pitted yet, just realized. 22 lap old hard. I don't know what plan he's on. He's probably going to go onto the softs trying to pick off fastest lap and steal it from whoever has got it. Or is still hoping for a safety car. There's still about 3-ish laps that it can come out. I would also just like to point out there is no DRS currently going on between Riggs and Reservoir, so either a big mistake from Reservoir or Riggs has just upped the ante that much, because the man in the Red Bull looking like he's on an absolute charge. He's almost under 2 seconds now, and Michele is going to have a very tough time of defending that one, I believe.
Maybe. We'll wait and see. It's 1.8 seconds, and yeah, no, Resify didn't have DRS. That's why he didn't have the rear wing open, if you saw that. But yeah, gap is now 1.7 seconds. 33.2 from Riggs, and a 31.2. Wow. He is setting fastest lap right now. He is flying out there in that Red Bull. Meanwhile, towards the back, in the midfield, Janetsky looks like he's going to line for what seems like another overtake between these two. Down the main straight, towards turn 1, easy as you like. Gets up into 4th again, as Belby will get DRS with this whole kerfuffle of cars behind as well. Up towards turn 3, and now leading to turn 4 down the DRS straight. Yeah, he's not quite close enough to it. Not a surprise. Didn't look like it at all. 1.5 seconds. It's now the gap. It was 1.8 at the start of this lap. It's about 4 tenths, maybe like 3.5 tenths now. Not separate. The difference on this lap. So yeah, Riggs is definitely on a charge for sure. He has used up a lot of battery, I have noticed. He's down to the single digits. So yeah, will that play a bit of a factor here? How much has Michele got? He's got about roughly 50%, I'd say. Yeah, 46%, so close on that, but still. Yeah, Michele's got the battery advantage, but Riggs has got the tire advantage.
Well, I think as well, Michele is under big pressure. I've just seen him have just the tiniest wiggles out of turn 13, that would have been. So he's definitely feeling the pressure from that Red Bull behind him. He's seen that gap come down super quickly. I think Resify has potentially resigned from trying to keep up there. That gap is up to 2.1, 2.2 seconds. But maybe Michele now is realizing the threat of the Red Bull behind, is starting to push a tiny bit. That gap has gone up ever so slightly between him and the Red Bull. But for sure, things are going to be looking very, very difficult once Riggs does make it into that DRS range. Only 5 laps to go, however. He doesn't have much time to do it.
No, it's not very many laps, but he's still got a bit of a marginal gap to try to at least do something. It's 1.3 right now, but like I said, he doesn't have the tire advantage. That belongs to Michele, but he has the tire advantage. That's the main thing for him. But will that tire advantage work? I don't know. Well, right now it kind of is working a little bit, but the gap's kind of hovered a little bit on this lap. It was around 1.4 at the start of the lap. It's now 1.3 on this particular lap. So not really much has lost or gained on this particular lap. But like I said, Michele doesn't... Oh no! He shot himself in the foot. A 3-second time penalty for multiple reigns.
That is so painful for Michele. I've just seen him go wide on that curve. He's now going to have to push as hard as he can. And I think Resify has realized it too. He's now going to have to push himself to maybe even nick a second place here instead of P3. He can't hold on to Riggs, it looks like. But Michele, what a shame. That blinding strategy, it looks like might not come too much in regards to the race victory. Just going very deep into one as well there. That might have thrown him off a little bit. And now Riggs, he's seen his opportunity, but he knows as well, if he keeps it between the white lines, that race victory is his. And he most likely will take the lead of the championship.
Yeah, we've still got 4 laps to go though, but yeah, no, that is such a shame for Michele. Yeah, running wide at 13. Very, kind of easy thing to do actually, as it turns out, if you run no ABS. Very easy to run wide and go into 13, yeah. If you're not very careful. Speaking of that, he also goes over the curve there at turn 9. But yeah, no, very costly error there from Michele. And Riggs is now within a second between himself and Michele. Yeah, very close. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, definitely for sure. He's now under that, so he will, if he can, he will be able to get DRS down the main straight. Meanwhile, though, this DRS train still lingering on with the Janetsky leading it. And he's got Belby, Boomchi, Pilator, and Napple still in this whole train for 4th place. And I think Janetsky now has broken that. Oh, geez, he'd run wide. And so is Belby there in the Mercedes. He's gone off the track as well. That'll definitely cost him a bit of time. And he's going to have Boomchi all over him with DRS. Mercedes, oh, again, he loses it again. I think he might have locked up a little bit badly from what it looked like to me. Yeah, but it looks like Boomchi might make it very simple here. Yep.
Could be very good news to Yanetsky as well with that 3-second penalty. Maybe them fighting now. Now that Bumpier looks like he's missing out on DRS, that could be a very decisive factor on maybe if he is able to keep that fourth. Oh, Bumpier has a big slide there. Belbelby now comes back at him. That's exactly what Yanetsky would want. Of course, he hasn't quite caught that maybe in that rear view mirror, but Belbelby back up to 5th. That fight could be raging on, but the gap is 1.5 seconds in front. Could be very important for Yanetsky. Pick off as many points as he can. Riggs, meanwhile, very well. He's playing this calmly now. 1.3 seconds, managing that gap. He doesn't need to do more than just stay within 3 seconds. Rezify, maybe he can't quite get on the back of Michele here in this race. But after what has happened to him last week, a 3rd place finish, I'm sure he wouldn't be all too unhappy about after starting from what I believe was again 4th. So 2 4th place qualifyings. Now Rezify looks like he can convert that into a podium position. There's more moves going on. Down into 11. Those are some very interesting places to make overtakes. And also, that is really, really helping Yanetsky now. Let's have a look what Belbelby has to say about that one. He is sticking by it for now. But I think that Mercedes wants to fight and wants to get that position on the circuit. Just 2 more laps to go. Michele most likely can't get that victory after picking off a 3-second penalty. But just how much will it be? Will it be 2nd? Will it be 3rd? I think most likely he's booked in for that 2nd place. But he still has to keep it on the circuit. He can't underestimate the dangers of just losing the focus for one single moment. Belbelby now through on Bumpier again. El Piloto making moves behind.
Oh my
no,
goodness.
That's Bumpier. That was contact there. Bumpier now ghosting and losing all those places. Ah, that is such a shame to see. The AlphaTauri man now on the inside of Napoli on those hard tires. Maybe those tires are fairly equal at this stage as well. But Bumpier at least stays in front of the Alpine. Belbelby into 5th. And he's now 2 seconds behind Yanetsky. If Yanetsky can somehow pull out a full second over the Frenchman, that would be just 1 position lost from a 3-second penalty. But it's very, very tight margins.
Yeah, absolutely. But so top 2, 1.6 seconds. It has gained a little bit between Michele and Riggs in terms of the gap. But yeah, it's not enough though. He needs another 1.5 seconds if he wants the race win. But right now that's a bit of a tall task, if I'm totally honest. Yeah, I mean, he really just needs to set like a quali lap on this final lap. Right now he doesn't have the battery at all. If he didn't get that penalty, he would have been set actually for the race win. But yeah, because of that mistake, running wide at turn 13, yeah, that's what's really cost him this win pretty much. Alright. We're on to the final lap. El Pator, right now in the back of Belby. As I got that stupid audio glitch again. Jesus. Alright, here comes the Alpha. Against Mercedes. That's something we don't often see this year. Just breezes by like that. And an Alpine now overtaking an AlphaTauri. That's Napoli on Boom Chipper. Oh, that's tight. There, you can see the marbles as well on the tires. Quite a bit of marbles there at turn 1. But yeah, now Napoli gets in front. Does Boom fight back? No, he doesn't. Not to turn 4 at least. But yeah, no, Riggs looking very good. Just needs to keep the car at least in one piece. Keep it within the white lines. And you get to the finish line. That's all he has to do. Doesn't really do anything stupid. Just get to the finish. He's got 1.3 seconds. Yep. Yeah. He's got 1.3 seconds at hand. As we got yellow flags, that's for Nathan. As Bravatok sets the fastest lap.
Oh.
No, he might be just trying to warm up for our fastest lap, I think.
True. Tactics, well.
Yeah. Alright, well, meanwhile, the leaders are coming around the final couple of corners now. About to come around the final couple of corners. Michele will cross the line first, but he will not take victory. It'll belong to this man, Riggs. After having a bit of a rough race at Interlagos, will cross the start-finish line. He wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Michele will take 2nd, and Rezify, who also had a struggle in Brazil, will come up in 3rd. So a very good, nice solid race by the pair of those drivers. El Pator, 4th place. A very nice race from him. Belby 5th, and Yanetsky drops down to 6th place because of penalties. Napol 7th, Boomsha 8th, Brandos 9th. Julian will round off the top 10 and get that final point scoring spot. Nicholas Boyta 11th, Brokey 12th, Matazo 13th, Nick Kenshin 14th, maybe 15th, Leo in 16th. And then the final 2 spots will belong to Provatox and Nathan.
Well, is Nathan going to get the fastest lap, though? He would be nabbing it off, I believe, Riggs? Or was it someone else who's stolen it in between that?
Well, Provatox got the fastest lap right now. And it says he's up by over a tenth and a half. Or a second and a half, I should say.
It could be close then. His fastest lap is 1.6 seconds off now. This could be a bit of a finale here with Nathan trying to get that fastest lap from the Ferrari. He's certainly pushing. And is it going to be enough? Nathan crossing the line and gets fastest lap. Dips into the 29s even. Nice lap time from him there. As that is the end of PSGL Formula 7 here in Bahrain. With no safety cars as well. So just very nice racing from the front to the back. We love to see those, don't we? As we've also got a Red Bull there. On the top of the podium, well, we're used to this, but
yeah, we're used to this now.
At least not with the Finnish flag, let's say that.
Yeah, no, it'd be a Dutch flag normally, but not the Finn. Pretty much of Riggs gained victory here in Interlagos. Well done to him, and well done to Michele and Rezify. Yeah, I know, I got it. I had to literally I had to think about that a little bit, but yeah, no, solid victory though from the Red Bull driver for sure. As they all celebrate on the podium, of course, and drink the champagne as well. At least this podium celebration has more character. I will say that compared to what we've had the last few games. Yeah. All right. Well, there are your unofficial results of the Bahrain Grand Prix. Riggs takes victory, followed by Michele. Not a bad driver by the Bahamians driver. I think that's how it is for someone from the Bahamas. Rezify 3rd, followed by El Pator 4th. Nice recovery after DNF last week into Lagos. Belby 5th. Not greatest results after his pole position qualifying. It's at Yanetsky at 6th. Napol 7th. Boomshi 8th. Brandox 9th. Julian rounds off the 10. There's Nicholas Boyta, Brokey, Matazo, Nick Kenshin, maybe, Leo Harris, Providox. Nathan gets fast slap in 18th place. And 19th and 20th is David Nielsen and Toby. Also, I love how the F1 theme had an audio glitch as well. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the F1
for some reason reminds me of patch notes. I don't know why, but this could just be something in the patch notes. Did you see the one where I think it was where Mark was being overly or hopelessly optimistic? Sorry, that's what it said.
Hopelessly optimistic. Yeah, I saw that.
That was fantastic.
That probably was the best note I've seen all series so far. All right. Well, I guess we'll go and get the podium sitters if they want to join for interviews. I'll just be back in a second on that. Alright, let's see. I'll see if I can get this all good here. Riggs. I believe that's you. Yep, I think that's you there. What was it? L-E-E Michele?
Wait. What was it? It was
It was like Ellie Michele.
Ellie underscore Michele, yeah.
Do you have him on your friends list?
I don't, no. I've only got Rezify, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Wait, let me... I'll check as well. Let me see quickly.
Okay.
You can find them in the Play Together section, perhaps. Except where? How did I do that again? That's the thing.
I've got the 2 so far. I just need.
Or you can go through the invites. You can go through the invites tab as well, I believe.
Hang on. Oh well, of course I got Discord to help me as well. All right. Ellie underscore.
Oh yeah, that's how it worked. Play together, and then I can just go into the menu, select who was it again? Resify, Riggs, and Michele.
All right. I'll have the. I've got the. Oh, I can't add more than one player apparently. Well, someone's apparently not sharing their privacy or something.
I've got them all added somehow. I don't know. I went into the party menu then to add players, and then you can select play together, and then it's actually pretty simple to get
Yeah.
all of the most recent ones. So
All
now
right.
it's not loading, great. But I've got them all added in case they would want to come around. Which would be nice to hear, of course, from the
Yeah.
top three in the Bahrain. We like it. We like it.
Yeah. It took them a while for the last week's podium series to get in here, so probably. Let me see if I can get message them just real quickly. See if they want to join. Where is that chat? Here it is. It's a fun. And Kelly. Alright. We'll give them at least a few minutes, but if they don't join, then we'll probably just wrap it up, I guess.
Well, that gives us time at least to ask a very important question. Who do you think is the driver of the day, or your personal driver of the day today in Bahrain? Because there have been a few very nice performances on the circuit.
Oh, that's a good question. I probably would go with Elpator. I mean, he also had a rough qualifying, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, qualified 18th, finishing at 4th. No, he had a very solid race.
Yeah, I can't blame him for that. It was a great effort from El Piloto. Personally,
Epiloter, sorry.
tough to call. Tough to call. I mean, I'm between probably the two Alfa Romeos as well, El Piloto and Janetsky. I mean, Janetsky with that penalty, shame for him to see that it's come that way for him, but El Piloto is a seriously good shout. But I think any one of the top three deserves a shout as well. And speaking of that, we've got one of them in the party now. Welcome
Yeah.
to Resify, or Ollie. Well, I've had him on the NLR Discord. Congratulations, P3. That's the first podium of the season.
Yeah, first of many.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely after what happened at Lagos, you definitely turned it around and got the podium for sure. So congratulations to that. But yeah, let's have you talk you through the race. You qualified P2. You were in a
P4.
battle for. Was it P4? Oh, P4. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, P4. I got mixed up with Riggs. But anyways, I was gonna get to that. So yeah, you had a long battle with you and Riggs. But yeah, pretty much you came out the best out of it all. Or no, not best out of it all. Third best out of it all. How was it for you overall, though, at Bahrain today?
It was, the first stint was lovely. I was really quick on the hards. I kept with Riggs and just tried to stay in his DRS, save ERS, and pull myself up. And on the lap before I wanted to pit, which was 15, I wanted to overtake him so I could make the decision and pit. And I went in and I gained a little bit on him through pit stops, but on the medium stint he was so quick. Like, I was hoping we'd work together to get up to the Haas. And we were, and then I let him go one time, and then he just flew. He gained like 1.5 seconds in one lap. I was like, yeah, I'll take P3. Maybe they make a mistake, but I just couldn't do much else.
Yeah. How were the memes though towards the end of the race? Did you feel like decent with them, or like for a while, and then kind of struggled, or were they just average for you? Because I noticed like you did drop off a little bit towards the end of the race.
Yeah, they felt quite nice at the start, but dropped off quite in one lap really quickly. Like I lost, like I said, 1.5 seconds in one lap, so that's when they dropped off, and then I was rear locking, losing the car a little bit. But the hards are just so much nicer to drive, in my opinion.
Yeah, fair enough. Alex, you got anything more for Resify?
I'm thinking. Well, I've seen you actually weave a few times, like a little bit, to maybe signal to rigs behind to try and work together. Was that actually the intention that you had with that
Yeah,
slight
yeah,
weave?
it
Because
was.
yeah, I was thinking that sometimes I just saw you pull out a little bit from the line. I was like, this looks a bit interesting, doesn't it? But
Well,
yeah,
I did
I
it one
guess.
lap. I weaved a little bit, and then I looked behind me when he could have got me with DRS, and I saw him flap his DRS a little bit. So I was like, we're gonna work
Mhm.
together here. This will be good. And then I was like, when I let him go, I was like, oh, he's wiggling his DRS again, and then he was gone. I was like, okay, that's the end of that then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
fair
was a
enough.
bit quick, wasn't he? Yeah,
Yeah, a bit, very quick.
a bit. Yeah. Well,
Well,
congratulations still for that first podium.
yeah.
As you
Yeah,
said, first of
thank you.
many. Definitely hoping that you can get a good next few races. Where's the next race actually? I've not had a
Silverstone.
look at the calendar.
Silverstone.
Silverstone. Oh, a home race as well then.
Yeah, home race for him.
Well,
Lovely.
Yeah, how do you feel
yeah.
about that place?
I love it. It's definitely one of my strong tracks.
Mm.
It's just a nice track to drive, really, isn't it? It's got a lot of nice corners.
Well, I wish you the best of luck for your home race, and good luck
Thank you,
to
mate.
you. And yeah, congrats
Cheers.
on P3. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll move on to our race winner who just joined, Riggs. Well, congratulations on your first victory of the season. Top step of the podium, not too bad. Like I mentioned earlier with Rezify, you had a long battle with between you two. How was it for you at Bahrain today? Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, I think you're referring to was that incident between you and the Mercedes, if I remember right, on the first lap, that second sector. Because I think I remember there was like contact between you two. Yeah, yeah, there was slight contact. I remember seeing that. But yeah, how are your tires overall though? Like, I know you pitted later than I think you pitted later than Reza 5, if I remember correctly. So yeah, obviously you had a bit slightly younger tires, but yeah, how were they towards the end? Like, were they fine? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I know like you were like getting quite rapidly with trying to catch up to McKaylee, but I mean I know you didn't really overtake him, but I mean it didn't matter anyway because he had a 3-second time penalty that he got late into the race. So obviously that put a big smile on your face, I would assume, for sure. Um, Alex, you got anything more for Riggs?
Yeah, I was thinking, of course, it was the 3-second penalty in the end that was the decisive factor between you and Michele, but do you think how much more pace would you have had if you hadn't got that time penalty? Would you have been able to pull that gap in? Because, of course, maybe you wouldn't have seen it, but there was still a fair bit of VRS at play for Michele, so it might have got a bit difficult to overtake. But do you think he could have done it, even on just pure pace, getting past him, breaking the gap? Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I would have thought as well. I mean, when you see that 3 seconds pop up in front, the first moment, you just pray it's actually a 3-second penalty that stays. But also, yeah, you just think to yourself, oh, okay, I've got a bit of an easier job to do now. But I mean, still, you have to finish it off. You did it very nicely. So, I mean, from my side, a very good drive from you. Congratulations. That is quite possibly the championship lead. I'm not 100%, but I think you might be up there now in that title race. So congratulations. That's definitely very, very good for you.
Yeah, of course. One more question to you. Like I mentioned to Resify, we're going to Silverstone. How do you think you'll fare around there? Alright, man. Well, congratulations on your race win. And yeah, we'll wish you the best of luck there as well. Alright, well, Alex, I think that will wrap it up, I guess. And yeah, thank you for thank you for stepping in for Flynn. I'm sure he'll be appreciative of that as well. And yeah, I appreciate your services as well. It was nice to have someone alongside me, of course. But
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me as well. It was a great little show here in Bahrain, and yeah, can only hope that you guys can get served up with more, and that some of the drivers on this grid are gonna be treating you to some very good races. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the progress here.
For sure. Well, thank you again, and yeah, and that will wrap it up. And thank you for watching. I've been K1997. My co-commentator has been Alex the G. And we will see you for round 3 of the championship at the historic Silverstone circuit for the British Grand Prix. Take care, everybody, and goodbye.
Goodbye.